Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to teach you how to use the Garry's Mod tool section. This is basically how to use your tool gun and what it does and how, what the things you can do with it. Once you learn how to use it, you're basically free to do whatever you want in Garry's Mod. You'll know how to do everything basically. And it's a really powerful thing that you should learn to use.
Oh my god!
So this is without any mods. These are all the tools you get in default Garry's Mod with no add-ons, no nothing. So we're going to start off with the constraints and we're going to go in order from top to bottom. How to use everything quick, simple, and easy. So the access tool basically lets you put an access on anything. So let's say here we have a barrel, right? And this grid you see here around it is basically an add-on. It's called Smart Snap. It just helps you with being precise in where you click stuff in the middle. So the first one is the access tool. So when you click access tool, you have force limit, torque limit, and hinge friction. Usually this means how much force is required to break it. This is how much torque is required to break it. But usually I always keep these at 0 because if I'm building something, I don't want them to break. Hinge friction is how much friction will be between this and the thing you're putting it on. Usually I have it 0 as well because I want to freely, but you can, try it, see how much you want, see the difference. No collide, basically if this will interact with that or will they be separate. Usually I keep it no collide because no friction. So you click on wherever you want the axis to be and you click anywhere, basically anywhere you want. Now this is on an axis. You can see it's spinning on that axis that we clicked on. And if we take like a prop, and just push it, you'll see it will spin on that axis. And it's very cool. Next we have ball socket. This is self-explanatory, but it's pretty simple. Force limit, again, how much force you need for it to break. Usually keep it 0, usually keep it no collide if you want it to work like a proper ball socket. Simple. Let's say we have 2 of these, right? And let's just say you put them like this. Okay, so you take your ball socket tool, you click on one, click on the other, and now what will happen is basically now they're attached to each other on one point like a socket. This is pretty cool. It's very handy. It can be used for a lot of things, and you can make like robots with it if you use the proper things. You can make a robot. It's pretty cool. You can use nunchucks. It's very cool. Next you have elastic. This is basically like a rubber band. So elasticity is just how strong the rubber band is. Damping is how bouncy your rubber band is. Relative dampening, you usually never use it. You just keep it at 0.1. But this will basically just affect the normal dampening. Just try it out, trial and error. See what you like. Stretch only. This is basically if you want it to only be a rubber band when stretching. By the way, this is just, there's no limit to this. I can actually go beyond the slider here. This is just basically so you don't break the game. Here we have a barrel. We're gonna turn on stretch only. We're gonna attach them, pull this back. You can see it will go back there. Boom. Basically a rubber band. But as you can see, it's now like freely rolling. So if you don't want it to do that, you turn this off, this stretch only. Now not only will it go back if you push it like that, but also if you stretch it out. Hydraulic is basically like a hydraulic system. So if you want to change the distance on how far away you want it to be pushed in units, it's like Garry's Mod unit. Of course, you could go past the limit, like I said, go 9,000 if you want. So now if you do this, now you have this hydraulic, but now you can't move it. Oh my god, oh my god. So yeah guys, it can be really glitchy sometimes if you force it out of its place. But yeah, if you have fixed only, it won't move out of its place. It will just stay on, it will stay fixed. So you can't move it side to side. It can only move in the direction of the hydraulic. That's what fixed does. Next you have motor. So if you have the barrel, the amazing barrel, and you have motor, here you have a lot of options, but it's really simple. This torque is basically how strong your motor is. And let's put it max force. Force limit, again, how much force will require to break it. Usually keep it at 0. Hinge friction, also 0. Force time is how much time that the force will be applied. Usually I keep this at 0 unless I have toggle on. So if I do this, now it's basically freely spinning until I click the buttons that I assign it to up here. So if I want it to go forward, I click 8, backwards 5. So now as you can see, whenever I click the 2 buttons forward and back, you can assign anything on your keyboard, it will spin in that direction. Pretty handy to make wheels and stuff like that. Muscle, pretty simple. So muscle is very similar to hydraulic. So if you set the expansion, the size of your muscle, so this will be like how big your muscle is, how far it will move, and this is the speed of which your muscle will move. So as you can see, it works like that. So yeah, pulley is a really cool one. Let's say you have 2 barrels, right? You move one up like that, You want to take your pulley, force limit, same thing. Width is just for aesthetics to see how thick your rope is. So let's say we have a rigid pulley, attach it like that. You need 4 points, by the way. If you don't have 4 points, it won't work. So now instead of this acting like a rope, it acts more like a solid bar. So now, as you can see, if I pull this up, the other one will go down. If I pull this down, the other one will go up. So you can make elevators and stuff like that with it. Very cool. So rope in itself is pretty simple. So let's say you have 2 fridges. Now they're just attached to each other with a rope. Pretty simple. So and here you have the add length, how much extra length you want to get when you put on it. So now it's actually not tight unless I push it. So that's what add length does. Force limit, pretty simple. You know, again, all about how much power it needs to break. So now we have a force limit. If I push it hard enough, it will break, just like that. Slider is actually cool. So slider, let me just show you what it does basically. So we can make a sliding door with it, or anything that just slides on one axis. So let's say we want to make a sliding door, like this moves in and out, right? This is what a slider does. Basically, you just put it here, put it there, and now this will only move along this axis, just like that, with like no friction. So if you put like a prop here, so it gets blocked, see, like that, and then you take your thing, and you can basically now have a sliding door, and close it after you. Pretty simple sliding door. Now weld is pretty simple. Again, you have force limit, how much power it needs to break. Usually keep that at 0. Now weld these together. Now these are basically welded to each other, just like attaching them to each other. It doesn't need to be connected. I could basically have a prop all the way over there and weld them to each other. So now they're welded to each other. It's very cool. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Okay, winch is pretty simple too. You make longer, make shorter buttons. I have them 7/8 usually on my numpad. And this is the speed of how fast it will be at making it longer, how fast it will be at making it shorter. The width is basically just the aesthetics. So let's say we put a barrel down, take our winch, attach it to anything, and now you have basically a rope, you know. But now if I click these buttons I assigned it to, I'll make it shorter or longer. But it won't push it, it'll just make the rope shorter or longer. Let's say we have it here and we make the rope shorter, it will basically drag it in. And if we make the rope longer, now we'll make the rope longer, but it won't actually push it away. So it's pretty cool. Now we make the rope shorter and it will drag it straight back. It's pretty cool. Now we're done with the constraints. So yeah guys, it's pretty simple to use the constraints section of the tool gun. It helps you make stuff, connect stuff together. It's pretty simple. Just try around, you know, trial and error, see what you like. But now we're on to the construction section. This is basically for just constructing stuff. It's pretty simple. So we're going to start off with balloons. And balloons has a few options here. How long the rope is. So let's say we have a barrel here. We make the rope 5. Now the rope will be 5 units long. If we have a rope length of like 500, now the balloon will have 500 units of rope length. You see, this is 500 units. Pretty simple. So force is pretty simple. This is how like strong your balloon will be. So if I have a lot of force, it will take whatever the balloon is attached to, will take it straight up to this guy. So you could actually use balloons on vehicles. You'll just put like balloons on here, you know. And as you can see, when you put balloons on, it's much lighter. And if you want, we could just spam balloons and just make it fly away. So now we just made our car fly away. It's pretty cool. Oh, and quick thing, if you have balloons and you shoot them, it'll pop just like that. So I have now buttons. Buttons are really helpful. So let's say you have like a constraint, like a winch, okay? With make longer button on whatever you want and make shorter button whatever you want. Here we're going to use numpad 7 and numpad 4. So we attach it to a wall. So now if we use those buttons, we'll make longer, make shorter, right? But if we take our button, and this is a key to simulate. So let's say we have, we put numpad 4 on it, and numpad 7 on the other one. Now every time we click the button with E on our keyboard, it will actually act as if we're clicking the key. This is very good if you want other people to interact with your stuff. So now we made it longer. It's very cool. Any player can just come click it and it will work. Duplicator. This is pretty simple. Let's say you have like something you made, right? So you just take the duplicator and it will basically just copy everything that's attached to it. You just right click to copy it, left click to paste it. So now you can paste your contraptions everywhere. And once you have something in your duplicator, you can actually go to dupes and save dupe. And now we have it here. So whenever we want, it will basically save it. We click deploy and now we can do it. Very simple, very handy. Next we have dynamite. This is fun. Basically dynamite is just like a bomb rigged to one of your buttons. You can change the damage like beyond 500, put a 999. This is how long your bomb will take to explode after you click the button. So you just pick a model here, doesn't matter which one. Put it down and we have 0-second delay. So as soon as we click the button, it will explode. This is very handy, like for a lot of things. You can kill your friends with it, you know, trap some stuff, and it's very handy. So next we have emitter. These are basically, they don't really do anything except emit some particles. So here we have the delay after you're clicking your button, how long it will take for it to actually do it. We have on 0.01, we can actually put this on just 0. You know, you can go beyond the slider. Scale, how big you want that particle to be. And then toggle and start on. These are pretty self-explanatory. Start on, if you put it down, it will automatically do it. So here you can pick all the different effects. You have water, click the button. Just like that. You can have this. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Hover balls are like one of the most handy things ever. So let's say we have like a block here, right? And we have up, down buttons. So put it whatever you want and toggle. I have 9, 6, and 3 because they're like right next to each other. Let's say we have put a hover ball here. So if we put 9, we'll put it up. 6, push it down. 3 to turn it off. So that's basically all it does. That's what the buttons do. Speed, how fast. Right now, put it max. Put a hover ball and it will be really fast now, as you guys can see. Resistance is basically, if I have resistance on high and we take something like this and put 4 of them, it'll be very hard to move these. Basically, that's what resistance is, unless you're using the buttons, as you guys can see. Put down some hover balls and up, up, and away. So lamps, I don't know, I basically never use these, but it's basically like a flashlight. You can change the FOV of the spotlight, the distance, how long it will reach, and how bright it is. Obviously you can go beyond. So in here now we have a red spotlight because we selected the color red and made it a circle. So as you can see, we can move it around, toggle it on and off with our key that we put. We could put things like this. Feels really weird. So guys, the next one is light. So this is similar to lamp, but instead this is like a normal light, basically a point light instead of a spotlight. You could change the color, make this blue. It's very cool. No collide. No collide is pretty simple. Let's say we have 2 objects, and when you push them together they do this, right? They interact with each other. Put on no collide, click them both, and now they don't collide anymore. This is very useful for different things. And yeah, physical properties, I like this one. Let's say I have a vending machine. Let's say I have super bouncy. Now this will be super bouncy. So put it there and boom. Can have it like act like rubber. Now it acts like rubber. Can have super ice. So now this will like slide. Remover. Okay, let's say someone's littering your server. You can't remove their stuff by clicking Z. Or your own stuff, you know. Just take your remover. Boom, 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 boom. Clear everything. Just like that. Thruster, this is fun. Okay, so you select your keys, let's say 7 4, like anything else. Change how powerful your thruster will be, the effects, and the sound. You can select the model, and actually the size of the model will change how powerful the thruster will be. So let's say we have this tiny little thing right here, and we have this big container. If you put this tiny thing with a 10,000 force, it basically is not strong enough to push it. But if we change the size, so next one is wheel. Okay, basically this is just similar to the axe. This is basically the same thing as motor, except it comes with pre-picked out models are designed to be wheels. So that's basically the difference. And when you click E on them, it changes the direction. So now we have a wheel. So now we're done with construction. These 2 are pretty simple, posing and render. So let's get into posing. Let's say we have this character, okay? Eye poser will basically select where he's looking at. Face poser, select the NPC, and now you can do so much stuff. Look. Oh my god. Finger poser. This one's pretty simple. Let's say we have this guy. He has fingers, and I'll pose his fingers. You just right click his hand. If we move this up and down, his finger will move. It's very cool, and you can make animations with this actually. And then the inflator is pretty cool. Look at this. So now we're on to render. Camera, you put a key, put down a camera, and you click in the direction you want it to look. So now when we click the key that we select, now we are basically looking through the camera. So next up, color. So you can change the color of anything. Here we turned him red. And then the material, basically material, you can just pick a material, click on whatever you want. Now he's made out of wood. Make him weird, now he's like that. Paint, you just like click whatever type you want. Bird poop, you got bird poop, you want blood. Trails, let's say you guys have a car and you select the trail, make it red, change the length, and pick what style. So click on the thing we want to have a trail, and now this has a trail with the settings that we put on it. And yeah guys, that's pretty much it on how to use the different tools in Garry's mod, and obviously you can make pretty cool contraptions with it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Have a good one.